Welcome to Mastering the Sweeps, a New Evolves training series. Here we apply the Lighthouse strategy, a disciplined approach to observing liquidity, structure, and probability in the market. Remember, your job is not to find trades, your job is to observe the market until it reveals one. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, this is video number 12, and I'm so grateful because whenever I started this, I swear I did this for me. And I'm just seeing what this is becoming, and I'm just so grateful. But I'm going to get right back on the topic because I like to keep these videos around 20 to 30 minutes max. So I can give you all of I like to call them gems that I can give you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. This lesson, we are in a whole new phase. So all of the lessons before, not all, but majority of them, are talking all about step number one in the sequence, which is all about liquidity sweep. Now we're going to the second phase. We're taking this super slow, okay? And we're talking about displacement. We're classifying it if it is weak or strong. Okay. So, most traders don't lose because they're completely wrong. They lose because they react to movement that doesn't actually matter. So, I'm going to give you the tools you need so that you don't make the same mistakes. All right. So, by the end of this video, you will not only know what displacement is, you will also know how to tell the difference between movement that matters and movement that you should ignore, because the movement is going to happen. But I'm giving you the tools to train your eyes. So, last week, you learned all about liquidity and sweeps. Now we're going to go one step deeper, like I was telling you. So, the question is no longer did price move? The real question is, did that movement mean anything? Because we will have the liquidity sweep, the liquidity in the sweep. Now, at the displacement part, we're filtering it out. Because not all movement matters. A fast move isn't, enough. A big candle isn't also enough. You need those, I want to say, indicators to know which one is the strong displacement versus weak. And we're about to dive into it. Okay, so what is displacement? Making it in simple language, a displacement is a strong, decisive move that shows control and changes behavior. I'm going to say that one more time. A displacement is a strong, decisive, meaning it knows where it wants to go, move that shows control and changes behavior. So if it's changing behavior, it's changing what structure was. Maybe through a reversal, like how we look for our model. So now that you know what a displacement is, let's talk about what it's not. So a displacement is not just any type of movement, like I've been saying. It's movement with intent. Take this picture because it's just as important to know what it's not Just like how you know what it is. We're getting your filter stronger. All right. So I've been talking about this for the last 5 minutes. Weak versus strong displacement. Now, here is the juicy part. Okay. This is where most traders get confused. They see movement and assume it's strong. So, what actually makes it strong? You see clean candle bodies. They're strong, full bodies, not little baby candles. Minimum wicks, because a wick basically shows you the indecision between the two, because you know it's always a battle, whether it's with the bears. If you still don't know what bears are, there are the people who want to buy versus sorry bears, remember the nails. So the bears are the people who want to sell, and the bulls are the people who want to buy. In the market, there's always a constant battle between those two. And because sometimes it's a strong battle, they will leave strong, larger wicks, where those lines, those wicks, shows you who or how they were fighting and who was the strongest. So if it's a long wick, there's a lot of indecision. And then a clear separation. Didn't move away from that liquidity sweep. And then a structure change, meaning if it was buying, it is now trying to sell. If it's selling, it now is trying to buy. It's opposite. Okay. Now, I want you to look at this. Price move, but does anything actually change? So remember, we're looking for if it's small body, large body. Well, actually, because right now we're focusing on weak. So weak, we're looking for small candles. It's slow and choppy, meaning that it's going side to side. And then wicks on both sides. Remember, guys, wicks are not showing strength. They are showing a battle between those two pairs. And then no clear breaks. All right. So we have the market whenever it was selling. And then after the sell, it started being choppy. It started going sideways. Okay. So first, where's displacement? Here's your displacement. But it is not strong. So it looks like this. Is it weak or strong? I already answered that. It's weak. So what happened next? The market ended up buying higher, but still there is no structure. So one more thing. So this is one of a good example that you will see as a weak displacement. And then there are other weak displacements too, but this is just video number 1 about displacement. We have like 4 or 5 more videos. So just because you haven't seen all types of weak displacements yet, it's okay. Just keep following along. That's all it means. Okay, so why weak displacement doesn't matter? It's because small candles, wicks on both sides, choppy movement, no clear breaks. And I hope that you notice I'm saying these same things over for a reason. The reason is the more that you hear it, at least 7 times, because that's how many times the brain needs to register something. And we're not looking for 100 million different things. No, we are being like a sniper. We know what we need, we know what we want. So we gotta focus on these specific words, phrases, vocabulary. You must know them. So it's weak because the movement did happen, but nothing changed. If you can remember anything, or if you want to write anything in your notes, write these few things. When it's small candles, wicks on both sides, choppy movement, no clear break. That's 4. Overall, movement happens, but nothing changed. And if you need to take a picture again, here's your picture. Movement happened, but no structural changes until it got here. But we have not finished step 2. So just because the market bought higher, don't get all happy. No, we follow structure. Now I want you to look at the difference. So with strong displacement, we have large candle bodies. The weak one, we have small. With strong displacement, we have fast movement. The other one was slow. Then now we have minimum wicks. The other one had large wicks. Last one, a clear break for a strong displacement, but the other one was a weak break. So something real just happened. Okay, so let's look at it. So this is what we learned about last time about buy side liquidity, and sell side will be down here, but that's not what we were focusing on. Okay, so we did have our sweep. It was being taken, and then what happened next? That's basically the overall structure that you would be asking yourself. All right, so right here, it broke out, and then it continued buying higher. But I do want you to notice there were not any sellers in this area. Strong. Did have some wicks. It did. But you can also see that it made a whole new structure, and there's no breaks to sell. And basically, the red candles are to sell. You do not see any red candles. So, just like the weak displacement, why strong displacement matters? Here you go. It's literally the opposite. I'm going to say it again. Large bodies, minimum wicks, clear breaks, separation from previous price. So wherever the liquidity sweep was, it moved away. So overall, something real just happened. It moved. It made a structural change. Meaning, if it was selling, then it's doing what? Buying. If it was buying, then what is it trying to do? Sell. So let's compare side by side. It becomes obvious. Strong stands out. Weak creates confusion. Take this picture if you haven't wrote your notes. And this is why, real quick, I know this is off topic, but at the same time, it's still on topic. This is why I like to teach on a PowerPoint, because not all of my words will make it make sense or make it super, super, super clear. Because some of you guys are visual learners like me. So use this PowerPoint when you look at something that you really like or you think that is very interesting and you don't have time to write, screenshot it. This is why I made it. I made this for you guys. All right, now back on topic. You know we have to talk about the sequence. So now let's update your thinking. So you already learned liquidity. That's the very first step. Then the sweep. Then right now the displacement. There are like two more in the sequence, but right now these are the three things you are mastering. So, the sweep is not the decision. If you haven't learned that from me from the last series about liquidities, sweeps, no, it is not the decision. It's like the flag. Like, hey, look over here. Something is happening. Now that you know that you well, now that you're learning about displacement, displacement is where you start paying attention. That's just giving you like once you see that liquidity sweep, that's like the first flag. Like, hey, something's over here. But when you see that displacement, oh, wait a minute, now I'm seeing two flags. Let me really look over here. So basically, these are just catching your attention. Because the more that you see or recognize the pattern, the more that you see the structure that you're looking for form. And then a fun fact that it took me a while to learn, but I did learn it. So the market, guys, the market moves in a predictable manner, but no one knows what the market will do. So meaning it will always be uncertain. No matter how many times you trade, it will always give you different results. So when you rely on structure, then you will have a more probabilistic opportunity to earn money. So here, most traders see movement and immediately assume direction. They think, oh, okay, let me go ahead and get in real quick. No, that's a mistake. But that's not going to be you because you're learning really well. So let's talk about your role. Your role. You do not react. You slow down and you ask, write this down, or take a screenshot. Is this strong enough to matter? Right here. These are the three questions. Is this strong? Is this clear? Did behavior change? And especially for my beginners. So if it's not clear, don't go in. Don't go in. That's not your trade. Find another one or trade another day. The market will always give you opportunities. All right. So one more time. Here's your framework. This is what you're looking for. You're going to identify where's the liquidity sweep so that you can look for your displacement. You're going to classify, was it weak or strong? And then you're going to decide, should I do anything else? What's my next move? So again, you have to identify, hey, did I have my sweep happen? And my displacement? Was it weak or strong? What am I going to do next? All right, here you go. Here, you're asking yourself this again. Where is displacement? That is your identifying question. Here's your, classifying question. Is it weak or strong? Last question. What are you going to do next? You got to decide. So here, you see that the market is choppy. Okay, so let's go through that step. So I'm going to ask, where is my displacement? Okay, so it's in here. And listen how I'm speaking to myself so that you can start thinking how you're supposed to be thinking. Okay, so where is my displacement? Okay, so if this is my displacement, let me see. I need to classify. Is this weak or strong? Okay, so I don't see movements that are strong here. So I'm going to say that it's weak. So what I'm going to do next, now that it's weak, oh wait, I don't need to do anything because nothing has been confirmed. So I must wait until I see structure. Structure is a liquidity sweep, and then I'm looking for a strong displacement. You see what I just did? Even though I did not enter this trade, I gave myself another opportunity. Because again, the market will give you the opportunities. You just got to be patient. This isn't your trade. But that's not saying that there's not a trade for you out there. All right, so here you go. So this is your practice. One thing about me, if you've been staying up with my videos, I love when you guys practice. Okay, now for your practice, because your practice is coming up next. So remember your 3 questions. Your, oh, well, yeah, your 3 questions slash your job, okay? It's simple. Number 1, you must identify where is displacement. I even put it in picture form for you. Identify movement. Number 2, classify the strength. Was it weak or strong? And then your last one, decide what happened after. And then here you go. Make sure you screenshot it because you're about to do it yourself. You see how this box is right here because they have identified it. And you see this arrow right here because they classified it. And then your decision after, you can do it in like a note. What would you do after? All right. So now that you screenshot it, hold on, let me make it like right here. All right, there you go. Screenshot that. I'm going to change it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, because that is your model. All right, last one. Again, same thing you're going to do, but we already talked about it. Okay, here's your homework. This is what you're going to go find. I want you to classify where is displacement. You can put it in a box, whatever you want to do, but make sure you do it. I'm so sorry. Identify where's displacement. Classify if it's weak or strong. And decide what happens next. Okay, I'm going to remove it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now that you have that as your practice, okay, your job is to go open up your chart. Technically, I'm not promoting anything, but this is just free. I use TradingView to mark up my charts. And they do have like paid options too, if you're interested. All right, so your job is to go find 3 examples on your chart. Because now that you have this information, you're not going to sit on it. You're not. Go open up your chart today. Go find at least one. But over the weekend, the week, or whatever you want to say, or however much time you need to make sure that you do it, then do it within that time frame. But I vote that you do it today. As soon as you finish watching this video, go find 3 examples on your charts so that you can get some reps in. One more time for the people who need it. 3, 2, 1. All right. Guys, if you can recognize real intent, everything becomes so much clearer. This is where your decision making begins. And I'm super excited to be walking this journey with you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learn at least one thing, and then go to the comments and tell me what's the one thing that you did learn today. Hope that you enjoyed it. I know that I did. It's such a joy just doing this. Until next time, cuídate.